A bill has gone through the first necessary step in the Senate to get passed that would protect both same-sex marriage and interracial marriage. We talked a little bit about this within the context of the same-sex marriage part of it, because that's the particular aspect that is causing right-wingers to explode. But generally, this is a good bill. Of course, the reason why it is being pushed for is because Clarence Thomas indicated, as well as just the actions of the Supreme Court generally, that these other past rulings that the Supreme Court has made could be in jeopardy. Of course, Clarence Thomas specifically called out Obergefell, and he himself is in an interracial marriage, but may put in jeopardy that very ruling, which is quite strange. I'll say up front, because I'm of course fair on this show, I recognize not even the most right-wing states or governments would ban interracial marriage in these days and time. That's true, okay? So that's not threatened, but I still am great with the fact that they're protecting it. The same-sex marriage part of it absolutely is threatened in many states across the country. But like I said, the first step has been taken in the Senate, which is very exciting, and a handful of Republicans went on board with it. The Senate is poised to soon pass landmark legislation to federally enshrine both same-sex and interracial marriage rights amid what Democrats call a worry that the Supreme Court's conservative majority could overturn protections for both. The first key test vote was Wednesday to start formal debate on the bill. The procedural hurdle was clear with a 62-37 vote, with 12 Republicans joining the 50-member Democratic caucus. So every Democratic senator, of course, voted for this first step. They called it a procedural hurdle, which is what it was, and it kind of gives you an indication of who would support it in its final form when actually it matters as far as passing it. So here's that going down in the Senate.
Vote. The yeas are 62, the nays are 37. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn having voted in the affirmative, the motion is agreed to.
Okay. And it is wild that, I mean, aside from those 12 Republicans, every other Republican senator voted against codifying same-sex marriage and interracial marriage into federal law. At least they tried to stop this first step and will definitely vote against it later on as well. One of the arguments you hear from a lot of these people is, oh, it doesn't matter, we don't need to care about this because the Supreme Court already ruled on this. Well, 2 points. Number one, okay, cool, then it doesn't hurt to codify it into law. But number two, we just watched Roe v. Wade get overturned, and then Clarence Thomas said, aha, we're coming for more. And it's very reasonable to act on this. So quickly, here are the 12 senators from the Republican Party. Of course, all the Democrats did, who voted in favor. Blunt, Burr, Capito, Collins, Ernst, Loomis, Murkowski, Portman, Sullivan, Romney, Tillis, and Young. So credit to them for that. You shouldn't really have to give credit because this is just a no-brainer, but that's the world we live in. Here's Mitch McConnell voting no. He also is in an interracial marriage, which is a very strange dynamic that he would vote against this.
Mr. McConnell, no.
Okay. Pretty sad there. This shouldn't be controversial at all. And if you want to know why many in the right wing stand against this, here's one of the explanations. Part of this we went over yesterday with Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh. Very, very odd articulation of why this is bad.
Argument for marriage has literally nothing to do with religion. You could be a visitor from Mars, and you could see that all of human procreation relies on man, woman, child. This is not particularly difficult stuff. By essentially boxing in the argument in favor of traditional marriage into, well, if you're a crazy religious believer, maybe we'll let you have that. But if you're a cake baker, then we're not sure about that, right? I mean, like, we're not sure how far this.
So who's making that argument? I still don't get it. We went over this yesterday. I totally agree with you. The foundation of human reproduction does come down to a biological female and a biological male reproducing. 100% accurate. What does that have to do with this subject? We still love the fact that people are reproducing in our society. Go reproduction. No one is standing against that. But of course, if you don't have any good arguments to make, just throw whatever you can at the wall. and see what sticks, which is exactly what they're doing. So there it is, much of the Republican Party standing against this, what should be an uncontroversial bill, but a handful joining the Democratic Party on this action, which is good. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.